This is the Carty Method Podcast.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Carte Method Podcast. It is Portfolio Lab, and it is Tuesday. Tuesday, I look at pictures that you're considering for your portfolio. Maybe you're not sure whether it's worthy of being in your portfolio. Every Tuesday, I look at pictures you're considering for your portfolio. And Thursdays, I look at your work that I've delivered to you, meaning I've told you an exact assignment to shoot. Thursday, this is week 37. My goal to see from you, which is due, by the way, tomorrow at midnight, on Thursday, is your niche at night. I want you to showcase your ability to work after dark. Like showing the technical ability, showing you using existing or artificial light outside at night. It demonstrates your mastery and the ability for you to shoot in incredibly challenging conditions. I give you 2 weeks to do these pro level assignments. Of course, this one is no different. I gave you this assignment a couple of weeks ago. I'm looking at it on Thursday, your niche at night. Very excited about today's episode because today I have lots of photos to look at, more photos to look at for submissions than I've had in a really long time. Very proud of you. If you're in Portfolio Lab and you're participating in this and you're submitting, I'm so proud of you. I have 26 submissions to look at today, starting with Miss Natalie. Oh my goodness. I should take my sunglasses off so I can read properly. Natalie Bendersky Shalom. Shalom? Natalie Bendersky Shalom. Natalie, let's look at your work. You're shooting with a Sony A7R5. You're also shooting with a 7200 millimeter at 11.5. So yeah, you're shooting at 116. Okay, so shooting at ISO 100, shooting at f2.8, shooting at 100th of a second. This is Miss Natalie Benshalem. I have such a hard time with your name, Natalie. I'm so sorry. Natalie, let's look at the work. Natalie, let's go. Okay, first of all, Natalie, what happened between the last time you submitted and you've been submitting every week? This hits for me. The exposure is good. The energy is good. It's very relaxed. It's almost like a lifestyle picture. Natalie, this is very good. And again, I knew that you had this sensibility in you. Your retouching is perfect. It has that like look that you've done nothing. Natalie Shalem, you just knocked this one out of the park. This is an absolute unequivocal yes for me. This is an 11. Let's look at this as a cover. Hit this 100% as a cover. Let me show you this as an 8x10. And it works as an 8x10. Natalie, like, what do I say? You're getting it. And I know that you're trying to get into the next round of my accelerator. This makes me happy. This makes me happy. And this tells me 100% that you're ready for this. This is a yes. This is a yes, 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 yes. This absolutely should be in your portfolio. And you need to shoot more of this, Natalie. Guys, that was Natalie Shalem. Natalie, an 11. Absolutely. That was so good. All right, Natalie. Well done. Next one is Nakumba Booker Jr. Nakumba Booker Jr. All right, Nakumba shooting with a Canon M50 with a 24-70 shot at 70, ISO 100, f3.5 at 100th of a second, 200th of a second. Nakumba Booker Jr. Nakumba, let's have a look. Nakumba, this is better, Nakumba. This is a really good push. This is a good push with light. Here. Good exposure. There's a couple of things with the body language, but again, the more you shoot, the more you'll lock this in. There's a couple of things that are distracting in the background, like this piece of blue up here. You could easily just crop here and give yourself a little bit more room. As you can see here as a cover, that's cover, like the blue is now a little bit distracting. You can see as an 8x10, let me just hide this. As an 8x10, you're completely cutting out that blue up there altogether, and it doesn't tonally match. That's the first thing. So just make sure that your pictures are tonally matching when you're shooting. And again, anything in the background that's distracting, just cut that out. But this is a good effort. It's good with exposure here. I love her hair. The lighting is good. Watch with your posing that you're not like sort of hyper back extending the person. Yeah, I mean, and again, if she's leaning on something here and then that is kind of cut out of the frame, it just becomes like not quite flattering on the body language. It's like her arms look like they're backwards. And then what that ends up doing, what that ends up doing is it does weird things here, which is under her underarms, right? It does weird things here. And then it does weird things under her neck. You can see here, because her face naturally wants to go that way, but because she's turning so side this way, like imagine if I'm looking this way, like my whole body is turned this way, this is very smooth. But as soon as I try to, I mean, I have a beard, so it's hard to see, but if I didn't have a beard, as soon as I turn this way, you start to see all kinds of weirdness happening in here, and it's not flattering for a female. So it's about body language, and because straight on just works, it works with what she's wearing, it works with everything. You just have her turn straight on. Super simple. Let me just show you this again, Nakumba. Sorry, turn this off. Nakumba, again, this is a good swing, good exposure. I love her hair. I love what she's wearing. It's just a matter of how you're posing her, and make sure where you're dropping your subject that there's not so many, like there's a light tone, then a mid tone, then a green tone, then a distracted tone, and then a blue tone mixed in with a little bit of black tone in the middle. So there's lots of tones going on here. Try to find non-distracting backgrounds, but overall this is a good swing for me. Where the gold is for me in this picture is in here. What's going on in here? So and if you see how non-distracting this is just on the green because it's so punched in, well, now I just see her and it's not so distracting. So work on that the next time you shoot. Nakumba Booker Jr. Thank you for submitting, Nakumba. All right, we're rolling. This is Torrance Davis, shot with a Fuji X-T3 with a Sirius 53 millimeter 1.2, shot at ISO 160 at f8 at 1/60th of a second with a Godox light. This is Torrance Davis. Torrance, let's have a look. Thanks for submitting, Torrance. So again, this looks like this is, I'm imagining a self-portrait. You have to try not to shoot so many self-portraits, although you're using a light meter. There's a bit of a vibe here. It feels a little bit like this could be used somehow in your portfolio. The first thing that I see is skin tone. I want you to notice my skin tone here, 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 here. And I want you to see your skin tone here and how your skin tone is just a little bit under. So this, we're going to call this under. And I think that you're doing something in processing, which is making your like you're crushing your highlights. This is under. I'm going to call this under by a third to half a stop. So reprocess this. You have to punch just a little bit more here in your skin tone. And for me here in the highlights, let me do that. Up here in the highlights, it feels like there should be a little bit of highlight here, but it's neutralized too much. And I'm not sure if you're doing this in post. You can see there's a little bit of a highlight here on your nose. There wants to be a little bit of highlight here. There's a little bit of highlight under here. But this area here, for me, should have a bit of a highlight. And I feel like you took it down. And again, exposure. Overall, though, this is a very like competent shot, Torrance. It's clean, works well as a cover. You have a great expression on your face. As an 8x10, I want you to see how this crops as an 8x10. It's going to pinch down to about here. So you're going to lose a little bit of your hand. Again, you could have given just a little bit more, given yourself just a little bit more room. But overall, Torrance, this is a good effort. I want you to work on finding new faces to shoot. Because again, it's like, although you're testing light and testing exposure and testing shooting in the studio, you're also like in front of the camera and then taking a picture and then running behind the camera. It's like trying to teach you how to be a photographer where you get to be behind the camera and direct and shoot multiple frames. Yeah, try to work on finding some subjects. And if you need help, show up to one of our Portfolio Lab Thursdays. That's all we talk about, is how to get you to the next level. That is Torrance Davis. Torrance, thank you for submitting. All right, Torrance Davis. This is Victor Liska. Victor shot with a Sony A7 R5 with a with a 70 millimeter ISO 100 f8 at 1/25th of a second. Victor Liska. Victor Liska. Victor Liska. Thanks for submitting, Victor. So Victor, I see what you're doing here. I'm always trying to nail like exactly what type of photography that you're doing. I want to have a look at your website, Victor. So let me just dial this up. Victor Liska. So looking at this website and this as your main categories, I feel like we're adding quite a few different things. And for me, I'm not sure if this fits quite like with the rest of your work. Again, right now you're showing, I feel, a lot of different niches, and they're very like architecture, interiors, portraits, food. We have to get known for one thing. We have to get known for one thing. I call it being the tip of the spear. The tip of the spear is like this. And that tip here can penetrate. And you're known for one thing. For me, I'm known for portraits. Now, when you're trying to show that you can shoot, but I can shoot this, and I can shoot this, and I can shoot this, and I can shoot this, even if you can shoot them well, again, I've made a video about this. I've made lots of videos about the importance of narrowing your niche. Now, you can shoot this stuff competently, but where it hurts is when it comes to marketing. And where it hurts is when it comes to people looking at your portfolio, is they're seeing lots of different types of work. So you now are attracting a whole bunch of different types of clients, and it gets messy. And Victor, this is a cool idea, but I'm trying to figure out who's going to hire you to make this, where it's going to go. Is this for a magazine? Is this for an illusionist? Is this for a magician? Like, I'm just trying to understand the context. There's a couple of lighting things here, but for me, this is where it just jumps the shark a little bit for me, because what I know you for is this, like, really, really clean interiors. And when you're using people, when this now becomes a different type of a photographer, this becomes a different type of a photographer. And for me, this work isn't as strong as your interiors work. So I don't know, Victor, it's hard for me to really make a call, and it's hard for me to really do like a valuable full review for this, because I feel like you're jumping around a little bit too much, which is really diluting your impact that you're like the work that you're exceptional at. You're mixing a whole bunch of work that you're just okay at with that work that you're exceptional at, and it's just like, it's kind of leaving me, and I'm just your competition, someone who's trying to advise you and help you, just leaving me a little bit like. So I would go all in on interiors and architecture. And for me, the difference as to like what that looks like in a portfolio, I have a gentleman in my accelerator. His name is Samuel Salling, and Samuel had a hard time in the beginning trying to find his niche. He had a hard time. And once, like, he was shooting people, he was doing tons of people work, but he was doing no architecture. And this guy works with architects. He's like, so through being in my accelerator, I helped him hone himself as a photographer that shoots only architecture and interiors. This is a picture of him. It's wrongly placed. And when you look at his interiors, well, it's just interiors. And now that makes it easier to market. That now when people are looking for this type of work, they're not seeing other stuff mixed in with it. And it becomes super easy, in my opinion, to market what it is that he does best. So, Victor, for me, I feel like the way that you're showing your work is you're showing too many things. And that needs, and again, no doubt that you can get all of these different kinds of work, but it ends up making your portfolio feel like, I don't really know what this guy cares about the most. So Yeah, that's my 2 cents. Marketing is a huge thing. This is a really good swing. Thanks for submitting, but this ended up being more of a overall concept of where you are as a photographer than just a portfolio review. And you're saying this is my exact issue. This is what you're saying. Yeah, I can tell because this is what I do. This is what I do. All right, we got to speed this up. Next is Courtney Turner. Courtney shooting with the Nikon D7 with a 35mm 1.8. ISO 250 at f4 at 40th of a second. Shot natural light at golden hour. This is Courtney Turner. Courtney, let's have a look. Thanks for submitting. So this is a different version of the last image that you submitted last week. I prefer this version. It's just your stance is too high. You're not seeing enough of the underneath of the car. And then this car is, and I mean, it's just not the sexiest car to try to like market yourself as a car photographer. It's like this particular Hyundai. It's just one of those like. It's just an ugly car. And it's like when you're trying to be a car photographer, you try to aim like way higher into like unattainable cars. And yes, you can shoot the Hyundais and the lower end brands. But when you're shooting the lower end brands, you can't shoot the lower end brands that have the like their trim package is like 17-inch wheels instead of like 19-inch wheels. And it just, for me, it just feels like this car is a very basic trim package. The gray is like meh. And although this is a better frame, this for me would definitely have to crop that bit out in post. Look at what that looks like when that's not there. Sorry, let me just take that little bit here out. Look at what it looks like when that's not there. It's a little bit more balanced, but overall you got to be a little bit lower because you're on a hill. It feels like you're going downhill a little bit. You really need to lower yourself. I would love to see just a little bit more of this side of the car. But again, because Hyundai with this design has some really weird lines in the side of the car, that just makes your light look really odd. As you can see, the way that this is like this just makes your light look weird. It becomes really hard for you to make your light look slick when that's what's happening. And again, this is a 2025, but it just, I don't know. It's just one of those, like, when you're looking at car photography and you're thinking about how you can become a car photographer. Like, let's look at Sean Thomas, Autolux, and Ian Martin. Start with him. Like, this is what your competition's portfolios look like. Bugatti, Benzes, like really, really rare. I think this is, I want to call it, oh my God, my brain's not working. A Land Cruiser, a Land Rover Land Cruiser. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that's what that is. But you see the type of cars that he's choosing makes his portfolio desirable. And when brands like Hyundai see a portfolio like this, well, of course, they're going to be all up on, yes, please, could you shoot my Hyundai? I know it's kind of a lower kind of a car than you usually shoot. So you can see this is Ian Martin and what his portfolio looks like and how high impact this is. Sean Thomas shoots just the Porsche group of companies. And you can see how high impact this has versus what you're sharing. So for me, it's not quite there, although the location is dope. This is a better execution than the one that you sent me last week. It's still, I just want to see a different car in this scene. I hope you understand. Courtney Turner. And Courtney, you're a sick photographer, dude. I have no doubt, like, how talented you are. It's just like your standards, you just have to be like, you just have to be ridiculous when it comes to your standards. Like, and if people like this want their car photographed, well, then they can pay. But these shouldn't be the kinds of cars that you're seeking out to shoot for free for your portfolio. That definitely not. I hope that helps. All right, that was Courtney Turner. We go on to Delilah LeBoy. Delilah shot with a Fuji XT3 33 millimeter 1.4 shot at ISO 200 f4 at a 2/50th of a second. No, a 500th of a second. My bad. Delilah LeBoy. Delilah, let's see what you got going in. Delilah, thanks for submitting. Delilah, this is a beautiful photograph. There's definitely a sensibility here. Let me just make sure that I'm looking at the right photograph, which I am. All right, Delilah, there's a couple of things. Number one, you're composing on the thirds. And you'll hear me say this often. You have to be very aware of not using the grid that's inside the camera, which looks like, oops, that's the wrong tool, which looks like this. Oops, that's still the wrong tool. Oh my goodness. There we go. It looks like this. Third here, and then it looks like this, and then it looks like this. Yes or yes. And when you're composing, it becomes super easy for you to think that this is how we drop our subject or drop anything that's important. We drop it on the thirds because our camera tells us so. But that's a problem because this compositionally doesn't work for us when we're trying to do anything editorial, because this is what this looks like now in a magazine, where this is now, it's very off-centered. And when you're looking at the whole composition, you realize that this gutter kind of pinches down that way and pinches up this way. You see that this is very centered. So our compositions have to be more interesting, and we have to think, okay, I'm going to cut my frame in half, and then I'm going to cut my frame in half again here and here. And then I'm going to put my interesting stuff on this axis so it's centered on this frame. And then where am I going to drop my horizon line? Well, I'm going to try to either push my horizon line really high or I'm going to push my horizon line really low. I'm going to do that because I know most of the time there's going to be text that works with my photo. And if I'm dropping my horizon line right through the center, well, that kind of cuts the position of where the text can go. So we're always thinking about how our photographs work with text and with print. I know it's the world of the internet, but so you all know, print is the highest frequency of photography. Print is the highest use case of photography. I shoot so much print. I've done ads, I've done billboards, I've done magazine covers. I've shot a lot of stuff over the 35 years of being a pro. So you can't just forget how to shoot print because digital photography is here and everything's on the internet and we have websites. Clients who are hiring you use your photography at the highest level for the highest budgets for print, for ads, for magazine editorial. And if you don't learn how to shoot that, then you're missing the boat. So, Delilah, this is a great capture, but it could have been so much better. I also want you to ask yourself, who is this for? Who would hire you to make this capture? Who would hire you to shoot this? I also want you to notice this, which seems to be a very important, it's very center framed part of the image, drops right on the horizon, like directly on the horizon. So you'd never see that when it goes to print. So these are things to think about, Delilah. I know that this is part of a part of your photography that you really love. I want you to really dive into this and really listen to this critique, and the composition thing. It would help you if you turned your grid off, or if you had the option to not do a grid of 3 but a grid of 4. That would be my suggestion, because then you would have a center grid, also this grid, and also this grid, and you'd have it the same way, this way. You'd have a center grid, you'd have that one, but you'd also have that one. So you would know what it looked like to drop this across the center, but you could also bias it up to the top, and you could also bias it up to the bottom. And you'd see where your gutter falls, and you'd have a reference point to know how to center something on one side of the gutter. And by the way, if you compose like this and it's just used on the internet, it's going to be so much more visually compelling than composing on the thirds. I hope that helps you, Delilah LeBoy. This is a beautiful capture, though. It's a beautiful capture. We just have to always push. Delilah LeBoy. All right. Next on the docket is Angela. Yeah, I can't say her last name. Angela. Okay, Angela. Angela shot with a Fuji X-T5. X. Oh my goodness, I can't speak. A Fuji T3. A Fuji T3 with a 35 millimeter and 36 millimeter. Oh my God, I'm so drunk. A 56 millimeter. All right. Also, ISO 160 shot with a shutter speed of, you're shooting at the way that you wrote this is really hard. A 2/200th of a second. It's 1/100th of a second. At 1.6. All right, Angela. Let's have a look at Angela's work. Angela, thanks for submitting. This is amazing. I like the light. Exposure. There's a couple of things with the exposure. Let's have a look at this with a double page. Also composed on the thirds. I just went into what happens when you compose on the thirds because it doesn't work very well with the double. Lighting. Lighting is a little bit frontal, meaning your camera, I'm going to draw a side view. So this is your camera and this is your subject, and your flash is like right here, right next to. It's giving a very straight on, like on camera flash kind of look. And there's a couple of focus things, but again, I can see that you're new with light, but again, you're trying, and that part I really appreciate. Posing eye contact. These are two things that are super important. Like where your eye is looking should be where your nose is looking. Like I can't look this way, but then eye track that way, because you see what it does with like the eye goo, and you can see that that's what your subject is doing. Her face is tracking one way, but the eye's tracking the other way. If her nose is tracking this way and her eyes are now also tracking this way, this makes this picture a lot more flattering. The hands here on her face in that way, it's like you ask yourself, like, why? Why is she posing that way? And then I want you to think about what Vanity Fair looks like, what Vogue looks like, and notice that like the new pose is no pose. The new pose is no pose. So the whole idea is that your subjects don't need to really try to push on any kind of pose. Like you'll notice, like when it comes to magazine editorial, like the new pose is no pose, and there's not hands to the face. Like that's not really a thing. So the more you shoot and the more you practice, the better that you get at this kind of stuff. And again, I'm going to remind you, the more you look at magazine editorial, and you'll notice where my light source is coming from. It's not coming from necessarily on camera position. I'm always like framing and modeling or using natural light. So this is where we start. We have to start somewhere. We have to start. And for me, this is a really good swing for you and your first submission. I appreciate it. Thank you for submitting. And again, I'm giving you all the love and all the smoke. I want you to listen to everything that I said with this review. And just the next time that you submit, work on eye contact, work on shooting vertical, because again, remember, magazines are vertical, people are vertical, faces are vertical, and like are up, like, so if you start getting used to shooting vertical, well then also when it goes to Instagram, you get way more real estate. The only place that horizontal works is on the internet or in 2 pages in a magazine, and only specifically when you're looking at it full screen on a monitor. But when you're looking at it on Instagram, you're only getting a really small slice and there ends up being tons of text. But if you shoot this way, you get way more real estate. So just practice shooting vertical. I hope that helps you. Angela Bequino, Angela, thank you for submitting. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Again, I can see that you have something. It's just a matter of like more reps. It's just going to help you so much. All right. This is William Sedgwick. Shooting with a Sony A7 IV, an A7C, with a 85 millimeter 1.8 ISO 320 ISO 320th at f 6.5 at 125th of a second. This is William Sedgwick. William, thanks for submitting. William, you are, again, this is a vibe. I'm liking the everything. I'm liking the light. I'm liking the sensibility. But I'm now noticing that it's been officially like 2 weeks, I feel like, that I'm looking at subjects of this same person. Like it's been many portfolio reviews. It's been many assignments. It's like we got lots of this gentleman. I need you to pick a new subject. And this is like probably either the same shoot with a different outfit, or you went and shot him again where he's wearing a different outfit. And again, I appreciate the vibe, but I need you to apply what you're learning and try that with new faces, because every time you get a new face, it's like you're trying to learn how to bring them into that state. And again, it comes with the reps. It's like, first you were shooting only your son, and it took a really hard time for me to get you out of the vibe of shooting just your son, because it's easy, he's there. Now you're shooting this gentleman, and it's like, now I'm like, okay, you found a subject, and now you're shooting this guy for like the last 2 weeks and submitting stuff of him for like, it's like, okay, Sedgwick, like, I need you to increase the frequency and start trying to serve businesses. Because again, you're serving people, but you need to serve businesses, because all you're helping is feeding an ego, obviously, and you're learning techniques. But if you're now doing this for a small business now needs photography because they need that engine. So again, this is a great capture. I'm giving you an 11 on this. This is compositionally sound. It works as a cover. It works as a double page spread. But I want you to ask yourself, how many can you do of this same gentleman before you're going to have to find a new subject? So you're always on the quest for new faces. That is what you do. You're a photographer. You're always trying. In a week, you should be shooting 5, 6, 7 different new people. You've done great stuff on him. Choose the best, put it in your portfolio, and move on. Like, don't rest on stuff that you did before. And once you have one guy who's like saying yes, don't go back to him again and again and again and again and again, because it gets tired really quickly. I hope that helps you, Mr. William Sedgwick. Thank you for submitting.
Are you making pictures that you're proud of, but you're still not getting hired? You're not alone. And that's exactly what Portfolio Lab is built to fix. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I go live on YouTube for portfolio review days. You submit your images, I give honest, detailed feedback to help you build a portfolio that books work. Thursdays specifically, we level up. I give you a pro-level assignment to do where I break down real-world briefs. Then, later on in the afternoon, we jump on Zoom for a live mentorship call. We talk business, creativity, gear, strategy. When you join Portfolio Lab, you unlock access to my community. It's global, it's serious, and it's built to help you grow. So remember, weekly Zoom calls, twice live portfolio and assignment reviews per week, real feedback from me, a 35-year pro, and a community of photographers doing the same work that you're trying to do. All you need to do is go to thecartymethod.com/portfolio lab and join today. Let's build your career one image at a time.
All right, Mr. I know this guy's happy. This is Kyle Gagne. Kyle is shooting with a Sony A7 IV lens, Sony 50mm 1.4, shot at 100 ISO 100, f14, and at a fourth of a second, 1/4 of a second, quarter of a second, call it. All right, this is Kyle Gagne. Kyle, let's have a look. Kyle, haven't seen this guy's work in a minute, and I missed Kyle. Kyle Gagne, let's get it on, Kyle. And Kyle is a very, very strong environmental product and adventure photographer. Kyle, I'm so happy that you're back and sharing work. This hits for me. This hits. There's just like it hits, and your compositions are always very strong. The way, like the collection that you have, like your entire collection is really strong. This is going to work really well for me as an Instagram 8x10 post. I just want to see if his site is in. Oh, it's not. Kyle Gagne's site is not included. Not sure if there is a Kyle. Ooh, There is Kyle Gagne, and this is Kyle's portfolio, and you see the field notes, the technology. He really has a beautiful sensibility, a real beautiful sensibility. This portfolio I've been helping him develop at different bursts over the last year and a half, I would say. There's something here for me, Kyle, and this works. This is a yes. This is a yes, Kyle. This is a yes. This hits. This is an 11 for me. Well done, Kyle Gagne. All right, Kyle. That's a yes. Malik Brand is next. Malik, Sony A7 III, 50mm, 1.4, ISO 100, f5.6 at 1/25th of a second. Malik Brand. Malik, let's see what you doing. Malik. All right, mister. All right. A couple things. Let me look at this as an 8x10. Let me look at this as a cover first. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. Cover first, 8x10 second. For me, it's about the light placement. Your rear light is good. Your rear light is good, and I think that you really did nail your perfect white. Like, it's pretty close for how early you are at doing this type of light. The chair that you're using, this part gets a little bit awkward because he's sitting on it backwards, and it's kind of ends up being a bit of a crotch shot. Body language, what he's wearing, the blue, I'm not sure if it's hitting. And then this color balance, because this is supposed to be white, but you can see how this reads quite blue, and that's white balance. So that makes this whole shot feel a little bit cold. So make sure you're nailing your white balance. And then the biggest thing for me is the exposure on his face. The exposure is fine. Like, this exposure is fine. This exposure is fine. But there's extra face ornamentation, meaning he's got cornrows or braids that is like in front of his face. And then he's got sunglasses on indoors, which completely takes you out of his brand. Like, he hasn't established himself as a brand yet, so we need to know what he looks like, but we can't see him because he's wearing sunglasses. And then the kind of sunglasses that they are, well, they're not Prada, they're not Gucci, they're just like mall $120 glasses. Like $20 glasses. So because of that, and then they're kind of bent a little bit, and because of those details, it just takes me out of it, and it makes me feel like he's trying too hard. You don't want your subjects to be trying too hard. And for me, Malik, this guy's trying too hard for those things. The pose is covering his energy, the hair forward is and then the sunglasses, and then the side light. Like, we're not seeing enough of him. He's trying to be too cool. I feel like you're trying to go a little bit too far with this one. This one is like, it's not quite everything. Take the sunglasses off. He has rose. Cool. Take his hair and push his hair back. He's wearing this blue thing. Take the blue thing off. He's wearing a shirt that's got tons of patterns on it. Give him like a black tee or something that's a little bit more neutral, because fashion expires. So the style that he's into right now, if you look at this guy 12 months from now, this style is going to be whack for him. So because of that, because style expires, we have to shoot in such a way that it's more classic and more about him than it is about what he's wearing and his ornamentation. If he's going to be wearing sunnies, the sunnies have to be fire. They have to be really high end. And if they're not, then it's better if he doesn't wear them. I am a bit of a snob when it comes to like really expensive sunglasses, which these are really expensive, but I also mix them with non-expensive sunglasses, but that kind of fit my brand. So, and again, it's like there's a time to wear it and there's a time to have them in photos. And for me, this one, Malik, just doesn't quite hit. Thanks for submitting. Again, you can shoot, Malik. You can shoot. You have a vibe and a vision. I just think sometimes when you're shooting, because you're so excited that someone is allowing you to take their picture, you just let them do whatever they want. You do your part, which is like the lighting stuff, but the posing, idea, what he's wearing, his styling, all of that stuff, you just leave it to the subject. I don't leave anything to the subject, like anything to the subject. So as soon as you start taking even more control over what he's wearing, what he's posing, and what he's saying in your photograph's gonna get better. You have to control everything. I hope that helps. That's Mr. Malik Brand. Malik, thanks for submitting, my guy. All right, we got to grind it. We got lots of people to look at here. This is John Laurie Beaumont. John or Jean? I guess it's just John. All right, shot with the Sony A7 IV with the 35 millimeter. ISO 100 f 1.4 at 2.4, like a 640th of a second. 1/640th of a second. All right. John Beaumont. Let's see what John is doing. John, thanks for submitting. So the super high ISO or the super high shutter speed is because of this scene. Let me just look at this again. Oh, it's because you're shooting at 1.4, John. You're shooting at 1.4. I'll say again, shooting at 1.4. You're shooting wide open. Like, don't shoot wide open. Don't shoot wide open. Don't shoot wide open. There's never a reason to shoot wide open. There's just not. That's why you're having such a, and again, I know you're trying to use depth of field, which I appreciate, but the problem when you shoot wide open is focus. And now you're shooting with a 35 millimeter, and your 35 millimeter is going to have more forgiveness than a 50 millimeter or an 85 millimeter shot wide open. But what you end up getting is a very narrow slice of focus. So we have focus here, a little bit less focus here in the eyes, less focus here in the glasses, like some focus back here, but it becomes very selective. Exposure in here on her face is under, I'm going to call this under by half a stop. It's because you're not pushing in any light here. And the contrast difference between the exposure outside, where she's being lit here, the exposure here, and then the exposure here where there's no sun touching her, well, that range is why if you opt to get perfect exposure here, you're going to get underexposure here. And if you opt for perfect exposure here, the whole scene becomes bright, which means you need a reflector or something kicking in light, because this is such a hard, light, direct sun situation. You can use a scrim, you can use a bounce, like a reflector bounce, or you can use a strobe here, kicking a little bit of light in here, balancing that. But suggestion is you're shooting at wide open because you love this depth of field, which I get, but you can get that same feeling of depth of field at like 2.8. Like, it doesn't need to be so wide. You're going to end up really having some serious focus issues, and art directors are not going to love you if you shoot wide open all the time. But overall, John, there's something here. I see what you're doing. It's compositionally sound. Like, it's a good composition. It works in horizontal. It works in vertical. I'm just trying to be a little bit hard on you because you're a good photographer. I'm trying to turn you into a great photographer, and I don't want you to fall into habits of like shooting wide open because your camera can. Don't go so wide open. I rarely go wider than f4. And I know that there's depth of field vibes, but how you achieve this depth of field is you don't shoot this with with a 35 millimeter. You shoot this with a 60 or an 85 millimeter and then now you just back up and you're able to achieve that same sort of feeling, but you're actually seeing your subject. You're not competing with so many other things in the background. You can still get, like, for me, the wide angle misses the boat just a little bit, but I know, again, I can't see the scene. So watch her hand, make sure you're not cropping or cutting out her finger like you are here. Small things, but this is a good swing for me. I'm giving you an 11, John. I want you to keep submitting, John. I like your pictures. Keep submitting. All right, John Laurie Beaumont. This is Natalie Bennett. Natalie shot with a Canon R6 Mark II, the 135 1.8 ISO 2 or ISO 320 at 2.8 at a 1/60th of a second. This is Natalie Bennett. Natalie, thanks for submitting. So Natalie, you're trying something different here, which I appreciate. You're getting better every time you submit, but there's some things here, like right away, I see issues with. The first thing that I see major issues with is this picture's out of focus. I don't even need to zoom in to tell you that it's out of focus, but I'm going to zoom in to show you that it's out of focus. This picture, as soon as you have an out of focus picture, this now is not what we use. This now is, I didn't get the picture. This is now not a final. You're shooting with a very shallow depth of field. You're missing the focus here, and then obviously it's going further out of focus in the background. The white on white, I mean, again, this is cream, but because of the exposure, that's kind of blowing out. There's a vibe here. I see what you're trying to do. You have to watch the framing. He's not quite framed. There's lots of room. Like, it just, for me, Natalie, it feels a little sloppy, and I know that you can do like so much better than this. The 135, since it seems like that's the only lens that you use, but in this scene, an 85 would have been perfect. A 100 would have been perfect. But again, it's like, if you only have a 135 and you're only shooting with this lens, it's like, well, I have a 135, but I don't shoot with it every single time because it's situational. And for me, it's like, it's kind of hurting you on a couple of technical things. And you're also shooting this handheld. I'm imagining you're not shooting this with a tripod, and it's just getting muddy. It's just getting a little bit sloppy in here in what this final image looks like. You're shooting with an R6 Mark II. Like, the resolution and the quality of this should be way, way higher than you're revealing. And again, that just comes from you continuing to do reps, continuing to shoot. And my next suggestion is, if you don't have an 85 millimeter, get an 85. It's going to help you so much. That is Natalie Bennett. Natalie. Again, really good background, non-distracting, handsome guy, the white on white. Like, you're so close. You're so close. It's just, if it's an out of focus picture, it does not make the cut. End of story. There is no justifying an out of focus picture. And that's been the case as long as photography's been a thing. So we can't allow out of focus pictures to leave our house. It lowers the quality of photography for the entire industry. So let's not do that. Prove to me that you can shoot tack sharp photos. That is Natalie Bennett. Natalie, thanks for submitting. Your bar has to be higher, girl. You can't let an out of focus picture leave your house. You just can't. Natalie Bennett. All right. Letitia Taylor. Lakeisha. All right. Lakeisha. All right. Let us look. This is a Nikon D610, 50 millimeter, ISO 100, shot at f5.6 at 1/125th of a second. Lakeisha. Miss Taylor, let's have a look at your work. All right, I like this. This is a vibe. Lakeisha, this is a vibe. All right, exposure-wise, very good. You're pre-cropping for me, which is a rule number one. I need the whole picture, okay? I know you're learning on shooting 9x12s and shooting other crops, but for me, when you submit, you give me a 2x3. So it is 2 across this way and then 3 down this way. This is pre-cropped. I need to see the whole picture so I can help you at the highest level. Don't pre-crop for me, okay? Let this be the last time that I ask. Please give me the whole picture, okay? Please. This is good exposure. I see that you're using what looks like on-camera flash, which is kicking in on-camera flash, this highlight. I'm hoping that we're going to get you out of doing this technique as far as how to bring light to your scene. On-camera flash is not how we use a reflector. We use off-camera flash. We use studio strobe that runs on batteries that we can actually so there's a couple of things like technically that I would love you to not do that. But again, the scene, I want you to see where this is going through her neck. So when you're shooting photos of her, try to shoot only a photo of her. She's in a location, but you're kind of competing with some of the things that are behind her. Like this water is quite bright. So our eyes are looking at the water, then our eyes are looking at this, and it takes our face and our eyes and our focus away from her. So one thing that we're trying to do when we're shooting is remove distractions from the background. There's a skill to it. And the quickest way we can do it is not see a scene and be like, oh, I'm going to put my subject in front of this very busy thing that's happening behind. Try to find non-important, non-distracting scenes so your subject, so you can really just focus on your subject. And then again, just watching the pose so it's not like so pretty. It feels a little bit more editorial. That comes from you looking at magazines. My suggestion, you buy Vogue, you see what girls are wearing, you see how they're posing, and then if you're trying to shoot fashion-y stuff when you're looking at Vogue, well then now you're trying to imitate those kinds of images in every way. This is a good swing for me though. This is a good swing for sure. I'm giving you an 11 on that one. That's a good swing. That is Lynn Cia Taylor. Lincia. Thank you, Lincia, for submitting. Again, Lincia, you're getting better. Like, I'm seeing your progress. Just keep doing reps. Keep doing reps. Keep doing reps, Lincia. This is definitely like a level up, which is why I'm giving you an 11. It's for sure a level up from the graduation stuff that you were doing before. So I'm proud of you. This is a good push. All right.
If you're ready to stop guessing and actually grow your photography business, these are the 3 tools that I wish that I had earlier. They're simple, they're powerful, and they're made for photographers that are ready to get serious. Tool number 1, my cold outreach master pack, 18 proven email templates, and a step-by-step guide to help you get new clients fast. If you've ever stared at a blank screen not knowing what to say, this fixes that. Tool number 2, my professional photographer's habit tracker. Good gear doesn't build success, good habits do. My daily habit tracker keeps you focused, accountable, and moving forward every day. And tool 3, the ultimate photographer's call sheet. Shoots get chaotic fast. This call sheet organizes your client info, your gear checklist, and shot list so you show up confident and prepared. You can grab all 3 right now at thecartymethod.com/tools. They're built from real-world experience, and they're ready to help you grow today.
All right, Reginald Ross, are you ready for me? Because I'm definitely ready for Reginald. Shot with the Canon R5. Oh my goodness, 50 millimeter. Canon 50 millimeter. Did you tell me that which lens you're shooting with? I mean, which camera body? You're just starting with the EF 50 millimeter, 1.8. Okay, ISO 100. With a 100, yeah, the shutter is wrong, but that's okay. I'm assuming it's 100th of a second shutter. At yeah, the way that you wrote aperture shutter speed is a little bit off and a little bit confusing, but that's all right, Reginald Ross. Let's have a look at your photography. Reginald Ross. Reginald, I don't know what camera you shot with, but I do know you shot with a 50 millimeter 1.8. This is Reginald Ross. Reginald. So, there's a vibe here, Reginald. Thank you for submitting. The on-camera flash, for me, it takes us out of like that pro look and brings us onto like that pop-up flash that is kind of just on top of camera. This highlight is kind of doing that for me. And the direct catch light in her eyes. You can see as I get a little bit closer to this picture, Reginald, that it's not really in focus. You can see it's soft, which means you either focused and then moved in closer and got out of focus, or you focused and moved back and made her out of focus. So again, there's a vibe here. I definitely appreciate the non-distracting background and the kind of cool fashion. But for me, she's posing. She's putting a like, hey, let me hold on to these like she's just putting a thing which makes it a snapshot and takes it out of being like pro photography and just makes it like you're doing this for her now, not something that you can use that has commercial appeal. The glasses, those glasses were off because they're quite a little dirty. Like they need like a, which then would make, I don't know, it just would make this hit a little bit harder. The exposure is good, Reginald. I definitely appreciate the idea. It's cropped like, it's like cropped for a cover, which is good. It works as an 8x10 as a cover. But the problem is just it's out of focus, and that out of focus, it takes me out of the picture. It should take you out of the picture. And again, never does a picture when you look at it at 100%, if it's not tack sharp, it gets the X and then we go on to another one. And if we miss the focus, it just means that we miss the picture. But I love this girl's lipstick. I love her sensibility. Like, she has a swag, but my suggestion is you have to shoot her in a situation where you can exceed, which is natural light. So you're not doing like lighting things that make your photo look amateur. Like, you can see this extra, this is all because of horizontal on camera flash. It just looks low end. So we need to not do that. And until you learn how to light that way better, I would focus on take this girl outside, shoot her on location, and make a location picture that really speaks editorial. I hope that helps. This is, again, like so close. But again, there's too many things. There's too many mistakes here. The focus thing, Reginald, is the biggest thing, and I don't think that one's allowed to pass. All right. This is Rafael Ortiz. Rafael shooting with a Nikon D850 with the 50 millimeter 1.4 ISO 800 f 7.1 at a 2/50th of a second. Shot with 2 lights. This is Rafael Ortiz. Raphael, let's see what we're doing here. Raphael, there's a vibe here, Raph. There's a vibe here. And again, you're getting better. You're pushing, which I appreciate. There's a couple of mistakes that I see that are a little glaring. The first thing that I see is where your horizon is dropping, your horizon line here. She's sitting, but like, again, if this is the background and this is your model who is down here, you can't be up here aiming down at her. You need to sit and be at the exact same horizon that she is. So you're looking down at her. So that means that this horizon now has to be here because you're standing up here and you're trying to include part of the ground and part of the wall. So you're hitting it like that. My suggestion is you shoot it this way, so you're at the same angle as her. What that instantly does is drops the horizon line way lower, and it just makes this look a little bit cleaner. There's something here though, Raphael. I want you to also look at the light that's on her face. And also when I get a little bit closer in here, you're seeing how, like, what's happening here with your exposure? What's happening here with your exposure? And are you making this a different color? Are you making this background a different color? Because I see some weirdness that's happening around her ear. And the graininess. I'm seeing weirdness that's happening here. I'm not sure what that is, Raphael. And the graininess. It looks like this background is one of those like Amazon backgrounds, not seamless. And because of that, it's not like sitting right. And you can see it's like bowing here. And there's also like wrinkles down here because it's not paper, it's fabric. So for me, like, the set kind of doesn't look good. I would take this out altogether and just shoot her on this, which is like this no seam or this shooting wall. Like, to me, that looks better. I'm not sure what you're doing with the exposure, Raphael, and for me that worries me. She's got a really hard wrinkle. Like, this is a light thing that's happening here and here. I can see your front light here, but I'm wondering what that is. For me, that tells me like there's a placement or there's a secondary light that's coming from the top that's putting light in here that's creating this on her face. So the balance and the balance of the light, I feel like how bright this source is, this is quite a small source and is probably quite far back. So it's not hitting enough. And then on top of that, you're doing something in post-production, like you're adding texture or something that for me is it's butchering your frames. So you have to stop adding whatever you're doing in post-production because it's really hurting. This was so close, Raphael. Like there's something here, but instead of this background, a non-distracting, just one color. This look is not happening in magazines right now. This is not this is happening down here. So eliminate this and just show me like one color background. I would love to see that version. This is such a pretty girl. The shoes are great. Like there's so many elements that this could work for your portfolio. But again, I still believe that you still have to go further, mister. You still have to go further. This is a good swing for me though. This is a good swing. This is Rafael Ortiz. All right. This is Israel Cordona the third. Israel shot with the R5 Mark II, 50 millimeter 1.8, ISO 200 at 2.8 at a 500th of a second. This is Israel Cordona the third. Shot natural light with a reflector. Israel Cordona the third. Israel, thanks for submitting. There's a vibe here. This is a yes for me. This is a yes. It's unpretentious. The light is right. The angle is right. The outfit is right. Look at this as a cover. This works. This works. There's good spacing. Good spacing here. Good spacing here. It's unpretentious, but at the same point, it serves like showing him as a warrior, as a... I'm not sure if this is kung fu or like what the practice is that this man is a master. Showing you what this looks like as an 8x10, which again, it works well as an 8x10 as well. Israel, this works for me. This hits. This is an absolute yes. This is an 11 for me. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, the lines are straight. Again, it's tricky because it feels like there's a little bit of uphill happening up here. But over, and again, is this line, like it still feels like the lines are relatively straight because he is leaning only on one foot. So, but yeah, this feels great. This is good. This is a yes for Israel Cordona the third. Well done, Israel. Well done. That's a yes. All right, we are down to our last 10 photographs. We had 36 submissions today, the most submissions that I've had in a really, really long time, and brings me joy. I hope it means that you guys are getting value from my photo reviews, value from what my team does in Thursday Zoom workshops. I hope you're getting value from this. All right. All right. And understand this, like Portfolio Lab, there's nothing like Portfolio Lab anywhere. There's nobody who's dedicating, there's no 35-year pros on YouTube dedicating as much time as I am to helping you get to the next level. Join Portfolio Lab. I played a Portfolio Lab spot earlier. For what I'm charging and for what you get and for how far these photographers are progressing that are in Portfolio Lab, it's worth its weight in gold. So please consider joining. Go to thecartymethod.com/portfolio lab to join. All right. This is Kyle Kiono. And Kyle recently, a couple of months ago, had an incident where he brought his cameras to the beach. It was very loose, and his camera was on the ground in the sand, and he was doing something over there, and then the tide came up and like completely salt water deaded his gear. So Kyle, you can imagine how hard that hit this guy mentally. and depression and anxiety. And at the same time, he's in my accelerator program. Hard for him to do work when you don't have a camera. But Kyle has recently made some big moves and registered his LLC and set up some accounts and Visa, new banking, all under his business name and his business account, as per my advice. And he has now finally got a new Sony A7R5 with a 50 millimeter. And that's what he's shooting this with today at ISO 100 f11 at a 50th of a second. Shot natural light. This is Kyle Kiono. Kyle, thank you for submitting. Kyle, I see what you're doing here, my guy. I see what you're doing. And again, you're trying to get yourself back out there. You're trying to get reps. There's a couple of things that's happening here. The first thing I want you to see is I want you to recognize the gray. I want you to recognize the gray. Where you see gray here, you see gray here, gray here, gray in his hair, gray down here, gray. Like, there's actually no black. And even if you look at where it's the blackest part of his image, like in here, even in here, this is the only part that it's actually black. In here. But everywhere else, gray, 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 gray. So we have to, like, and when you see it like this, you see, wow, that's really gray. So color balance is what we're trying to do. White balance and contrast. Contrast is your friend. Contrast. And contrast is like that slider that you see that goes like this way and like 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this way, like negative contrast. You need to improve contrast, but also just what you're shooting, like what you're shooting and who's in front of your camera. You know, this man's never going to pay you to take a photo. And you know that the photo of this gentleman's not going to get you other people trusting you to pay you to do work. So you're excited and I feel that. And I know you just got your camera again, but it's like, you have to be discerning as far as who you're choosing to photograph. My suggestion has been small business instead of people who are down on their luck, people who are they're underemployed, people who are struggling. And again, the neck tattoos and the broken teeth and he looks like he's like, and again, whether he's a friend, whether you met him in church or all of that, I understand that, but those people that work, you don't share that work. You don't share that work publicly because it lowers your profile and you're trying to raise your profile. How you raise your profile is by surrounding yourself and applying your camera to people who have a raised profile and who have things going on for themselves, who would use your photography to make it so there's more things going on with themselves. Picking someone who has nothing going on and then choosing that person to tell their story and to make a photograph, all that's doing is bumming people out. And I hate to be so dry, but all it's doing is making us feel like, hey, Claire, thank you for becoming a subscriber. Appreciate you. All that's doing is making our viewers just like, huh. I mean, it's a downer. Do you know what I mean? It's a downer. And people don't see someone who's kind of making that, like, they're now not like, oh, let me hire this guy and pay him $20,000. No, they're like, ew, that guy's a bit of a downer. Now let me look at someone else who's not a downer, who shoots up work with like pretty people who are drinking Coca-Cola and having a great time. Like, that is what we're doing. But like, choosing these people as your subjects and choosing these people up against a plain like jailhouse wall, and then like, this is my photo. Who does this serve? It doesn't serve anybody. It just serves you. you're doing a good deed. So you feel like you're serving God, but it's like God helps those who help themselves. And again, it's like there has to be a way that you're helping small businesses bring money and commerce into their lives, and you then become popular because you solve this problem. And then once you're doing 100K a year, well, then now you can do an exhibit with these people, and it can be something that you can be the humanitarian once you've legged up yourself. But associating yourself with people that are low income and low privilege when you're now pointing $10,000 worth of camera equipment at them, all you're doing is putting yourself at risk again. You just lost your camera because of negligence. And now you're putting yourself at risk again because you're now choosing to photograph high risk people who, like, one bop on the head, now their problems are solved for the day. Because you're so free with showing your expensive gear to people who are so underprivileged. I hope this helps you, Kyle. Thanks for submitting, my guy. Kyle's giving me all the responses and understanding. And you're very welcome, Kyle. And again, I care about you. So want to see you succeed, my guy. All right, this is Mike Graves. Mike is shooting with a Mavic 4, Pro. Obviously, this is a drone shot. 28 millimeter Hasselblad ISO 100, 400th of a second at f2.6. This is Mike Graves, and Mike is my new editor. Mike has been editing video content for me. He's done 2 videos, I think, more to come. And he's also in my accelerator program. And Mike Graves really, he gets it. And Mike Graves also, he's not even finished this round of my accelerator. He started in the beginning of June. Mike Graves is doing 8K a month on retainer because he understands the 6 phases of the Carty method, and all he does is apply it, and it's unlocked money for him. So Mike Graves, using his words and him using back my words, is Mike Graves says, I see the matrix. This is Mike Graves. Mike, thanks for submitting. Mike, there's a vibe here. There's definitely a vibe here. It's a little center focused, like showing you this editorially and what that works as a double page spread. You see, it's a little center focused. I mean, there are other applications of where this would work without it being a double page spread. But this picture has depth and dimension. And again, I'm wanting to always ask, like, who would hire you to make this? Is it this company here? Who would hire you to make this photo? It's very, very high quality. Like, this is really high-end drone photography, which I really appreciate. But I want you to think about all the different ways that you could apply this. Would this work as a vertical? Would this work as a vertical? Excuse me. And you pushing that vertical. Oh, no, Carty. Go back over here. Go back over here. Would this work as a vertical if you were shooting it like this instead of a double page spread? So does it work that way? For me, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, it's hard because you usually bias when you're shooting drone photography to do it horizontal. But there's depth here, Mike. I see it. I would like to see you explore a little bit more with this, a little bit more product application, a little bit more client application. But I see what you're doing. This is a vibe, Mike. Thanks for submitting. This is a vibe. Like, you can shoot and, like, you see, and I see you seeing. This is definitely a vibe. It's just tricky because for me, I'm always just thinking about the commercial application. But I appreciate it. All right, that is Mike Graves. This is Doyle Daniels. Doyle with the Nikon Z8 with a 24 to 1/20th of a second. F4 shot at 6/40th. No, a 64th of a second. At a, oh my God, sometimes I hear I should just be transparent. I should just be transparent and tell you what's going on with me. I've been trying to avoid telling you what's going on with me, but about a month ago, so a week before I went to Cape Town, I banged my head like on that door in the middle of the night, going quite quickly. I banged my head right here. I didn't think anything was that off, and I was quite fine for I concussed myself is a good way to put it. I got a concussion. I didn't notice the effects of the concussion for like the first few days. But right before I was about to fly to Cape Town, I realized that I was having major effects from this concussion. And then I flew to Cape Town. And while I was in Cape Town, I did notice that there was some issues with my quick reading. Reading seemed to be with this concussion the thing that I was having the biggest issue with. Now, I have a doctor's appointment next week, and I've also chiropractic, massage, reduced screen time. I'm doing all the things all the right things in order to get back to 100%. But I've been trying to keep it under wraps and trying to just be business as usual. My team knows, my girl, everybody who's a part of the inner circles of the Carty method knows that I got concussed pretty bad, and it it really fucked me up. And my reading is not quite as 100% as it was, which is why I'm looking at what lenses you're shooting and what camera bodies, stuff that is just blah, 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 before I banged my head. But now I'm just slower. The funny thing is I can do photo reviews. It's just when I'm reading notes, I'm just slower. So I've been doing my best, and I figure talking to you, you care about me, you're here, you're watching my YouTube channel, and obviously everybody wants me to be back to 100%. I'm trying to be back to 100%, but if you see me saying Nikon Nikon Z800 with a 24 to 2, that's what I'm having problems with. So transparency is the new meta, and I know a lot of people who've had some major concussions. I've been concussed, I've been knocked out, I've had some major issues medically with concussions in days gone by. This is the first time that I've had issues with my reading and my quickness. So I've heard that it takes some time to come back to 100%. So I have my team leaning in way harder. It doesn't mean that I can't do my accelerator and all that stuff. That's not the case. But again, I'm just being transparent. I am having a harder time with reading, doing notes, teleprompter, this kind of stuff. It's just harder than it was a month ago. So I appreciate all your kind words, the hearts and the love that you're sending me. Thank you. And the positive vibes. But I also think it's important to just tell you what's going on, because if not, you'll notice that I'm a bit off, you know? And, it's bad. Like, I'm not able to read people's names properly and like their last names and like what f-stop they're shooting with and stuff like that. Like that, do you understand how I don't know if you understand how upsetting that is for me. It's really upsetting for me. And I know I'm gonna get through it. It's only been a month. It's fine. I've heard that at times for how hard I banged my head. Could be a couple of months. And again, the doctor will be doing scans and all that stuff. And I've had like eye tracking scans and stuff like that. And it's like you're 100% normal on like every aspect except for this one thing. So at times I'm learning how to read again, sadly. Appreciate all your prayers. Thank you. All right, Doyle Daniels. Doyle shooting with the Nikon Z8 at ISO 640th with a 50. Sorry, a 850, 85 millimeter. There you go. An 85 millimeter lens at 1/25th of a second. There you go. So yeah, this again, it's like, and I've done like 4 podcasts already like this, 4 podcasts. And you know, the first one that I did happened, like the first podcast that I did was like 3 days after I banged my head. It was fine. There's no issues at all with reading. None. Came in like day 4 or 5. This is crazy. And Doyle Daniels using a 2-light setup. Doyle Daniels, let's get it on. Thanks for submitting. So Doyle, a little bit different for you. And again, client work, I like the sensibility. It's a loose frame. It's a loose frame, which I appreciate. I want to see this, first of all, as a double page, as a cover first, and then as a vertical, 8x10. This works for me, Doyle, and then I have to zoom it. Because I want to just see this light. That's the only thing that I'm seeing here, Doyle, is the light that's happening in his face here. Like you see this light, that's all placement. And that's light that's low, aiming upwards. The light that's on her is quite direct. So it seems to me like you have one source here, and that same source is going that way and that way. This situation for me, you sky the light, you bring the light up here, and then now this light down now puts the right angle on his face and the right angle on his face. It feels like a 2-light setup here because you have to have some light in here to fill in the shadow that's happening on that side. But again, my only issue is the light that's happening on him. What's going on in the ground down here doesn't bother me. It adds context. The non-distracting background, the theater feeling adds context. This is a yes for me, Doyle. This is a yes. It hits. It hits. It hits. It hits as a cover. It hits as a 8x10 if it was going to be an 8x10. And then also, if you were to crop this picture, if you wanted to punch in a little bit, you also could punch in without losing much like image integrity. So I like this. It's a vibe. I mean, when you start really getting into what they're wearing and the vibe, like I feel like this serves a purpose. These people hired you to make this image and you made a very competent image. I'd love to see some of the other images that you made with this group in this context, but for me, this is a yes. This is a yes. This just works. It's clean. It's clean. It's editorial if it needed to be. Yeah, it works. It's a good shit. That's Doyle Daniels. Well done, Doyle. Leslie Carty, my brother, my actual brother, my blood brother, who's just learning about my concussion. Les shot this with a Canon X2i with a 70-200. I gave my brother my 70-200 L series, shot at a 3/60th of a second at f 5.6 at a 1/60th of a second. No, 1/60th ISO. Yeah, 1/60th ISO and 3/20th of a second. Oh my God. This is so fun. Believe me, this is so fun. It's so fun being like an invalid again. Fuck. Leslie Carty, the only brother I have. Thank you for submitting, Les. Thank God I gave you this lens. What a game changer. Holy moly, what a game changer. You needed this so bad. You need a camera body next. I'll work on that next. But compositionally sound, Les. Understand this. My brother is a fine art painter. He is one of the most sought after car painters in Canada. He paints Bugattis and Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Like, he paints the most amazing cars, but he is also a photorealistic painter, and he uses photography in order to shoot images that then he airbrushes after. He paints after. So this is one of his photographs that he may or may not paint after. Les, this lens suits you well, bro. Look at this shallow depth of field. Just watch that you're not going too shallow, because you're seeing your focus here. You're actually missing focus. Your focus is hitting like this, and it's hitting like other things, but it's not quite hitting here. So just don't go wide open. This lens, I believe, is a 2.8. Don't, like, f4 is like your happy spot with this lens. F4, you're still gonna get this same look and feel, but if you shoot wide open, I worry that sometimes you're gonna miss focus, especially handheld. But this is a really good swing for me, brother. This is a good swing. And again, it's like the lens that you were shooting with before was so bad. I'm so glad that you have this lens now. The next thing is another body. I love depth of field wise what this is doing. It's just added a level of professionalism to your photography. It's also going to play into the car photography once you wrap your head around that. But I think we need a new camera body first. But don't stop shooting with the one that you have. But very well done. That is Leslie Carty. Very well done double page spread. Also, bro, just another reminder, remember that we're not shooting on the thirds. Don't shoot on the thirds because of where the gutter is. Think that you cut your picture in half and then half again. I would have loved to see this bird right here, but because you're composing on the thirds, you get a little bit claustrophobic to this gutter. So just watch that. And then also be wary of that that's a gutter. That gutter we could have pushed a little bit that way or pushed it a little bit that way. So that gutter is here. But again, a really good swing. My brother, Les. Well done, Les. Thanks for submitting. All right, that is Leslie Carty. This is Charles Fortin. Charles shooting with the Sony A7 IV with a 100 millimeter, ISO 100 f4 at 1,000th of a second, shot natural light. This is Charles Fortin. Charles, thanks for submitting. Charles, this hits for me. This hits for me. Really good low horizon line. Like, you push that horizon line, you push that shit down. Thank you. You push the horizon line down. Look at now compositionally how this works in a magazine. You also cut this frame in half. You cut this frame in half, and then you put your subject in center on that half frame. You gave me lots of room for copy, lots of room for article. And then super interesting what he's doing with the fishing rod and like looking to this side of the frame, which brings our eye over here. This is textbook, Charles. This is literally a masterclass in double page composition. Also, look at the focus. Look, when you come in up here, super, super tight focus. And also because he's low in the horizon line, he's now dealing with some really great like depth of field happening in the foreground. He's dealing with water coming up in front of the boat because he's not aiming down at it. And the distance between here, the boat, and back here is all still quite thin. So when you look at this compositionally this way, it just works. And also this whole thing is all shot within that much of the frame. It's like this much of the frame. This just hits. This hits so hard. This is unequivocally an 11. Charles, yes. Yes. And again, just Charles is in my accelerator program. The photographers that we're looking at right now are accelerator members. Charles Fortin. When you see this guy's work, you see how it fits and it makes sense. And looking at the image that I just showed you, the image that he just submitted, well, look at all of these other examples. And at times I've been talking to him about where he's dropping his horizon, and now he's unlocked it. He's now pushing his horizon way lower, and you can see how it's actually working within this portfolio. It's working. Charles Fortin is an insane outdoor adventure and like fitness photographer, lifestyle, like outdoor adventure is the description that I would give him. He is an outdoor adventure photographer that's heavily biased on the products that are used for outdoor adventure. Like he just gets it. And as a lifestyle photographer, come on, like this guy's a killer. So Charles had a lot of work, but the vision and helping him put this portfolio together and just having him see himself as the world-class photographer that he is, it takes time and it takes coaching. And that's what I do. That's what I do. And this is why, like, not every one of these images hit, but the ones that do, oh my goodness, they do. And this image hits so hard because he listens, and he's had bad review after bad review, and has listened and applied these things that he was doing wrong, and now he's not doing those things, and his work just hits so hard. This is Charles Fortin. Charles, an 11, my guy. Well done. Well done. Charles Fortin. Love. We're down to our last 5 photos.
Hey, if you've been watching my content and learning from it, thank you. But watching free videos can only take you so far. If you really want to level up, you have to go deeper. That's why I created the Carty Method YouTube memberships, to give you exclusive access to tools and support you're not going to find anywhere else. When you hit that join button, this is what you get. First of all, you help me keep all my live shows ad-free. No distractions, just straight value every single week. Second, you unlock members-only posts, which I share behind-the-scenes updates, sneak peeks of what I'm working on, and it's only for members. And you'll also stand out in my chat with a crown badge next to your name that levels up the longer that you're a member. And you'll get access to custom emotes that you can use in chats and my comments. You're also going to get access to members-only live streams, like that time I brought you inside a real shoot live in the studio. And of course, your questions. Your questions in my comments get priority answers every single time. All of that for only $4.99 a month. But know this, whether you join or not, I appreciate you because you're watching and you're here. But when you're ready to go deeper, hit that join button and I'll see you on the end.
All right. I need to add 1 second to that one. I just noticed that my brother has the newest join button, the newest join badge. Okay, so when you join, you get a crown badge next to your name. And then after a year, you get the next thing. And that thing is wings. You get wings when you've been a member for a year. But then after you've been a member in your second year, you get a new icon, and that new icon is literally like the alpha, the omega. It's this triangle, which is very akin to my tattoo, and it is like it is the way that I would explain it is, first thing we have to master is creativity, is food, clothing, and shelter. That's the first one. It's a Chautauqua. Food, clothing, and shelter. That's the first Chautauqua you have to master. After that Chautauqua, the second one, after you've managed food, clothing, and shelter, you then go to the second one, which is creativity, spirituality, and knowledge. So this new icon that you see here, this Chautauqua, is creativity, spirituality, and knowledge. So that is for those people who have been with me for 2 years as members. And my brother, and again, members started like 2 years ago at the beginning of October. Nope, that's not the right month. August. That's the month. August. It started at the beginning of August. So anybody who's been a member since the beginning of August 2 years ago gets that new crown. All right, Mats Carlson, shot with the Canon R5, no, R3, R6. I'm getting worse. The R6, Canon R6, the 50 millimeter macro. I love it. 100 millimeter. Sorry, not the 50 millimeter, the 100 millimeter macro, the 2.8. Shot at ISO 400 at f10 at a 600th of a second. This is Mats Carlson. And Mats, so you know, we're actually moving the time of our Sunday ProLab Accelerator meeting, which usually starts at 3:30. That's usually too late for you. We're moving it to 2 o'clock Eastern time, just 90 minutes earlier. So you should now be able to come to these meetings. Mats Carlson, haven't seen your pictures in a minute. Let's get it on. Mats Carlson, thanks for submitting. Mats, this is compositionally sound. I want to show you what this looks like as a double page spread. And again, I know that this is applied photography, but works very well as a double. I'm feeling like this gentleman is hiring you to, like he hired you to shoot this and show himself as a contractor, as a handyman, as a Mr. Fix-It. This works for me. I mean, yes, there's multiple layers. We have multiple layers from what's happening down here to what's happening here with this retaining wall to what's happening here to obviously the actual structure and the color, and then the thatched roof and obviously the windows. Like there's lots of elements. I want you to fix his exposure because his exposure here, Mats, is under, I'm going to call this under by a half. At minimum, it's under by a third of a stop. So just give me a little bit more exposure. We have good exposure on the scene, but this dark blue on this and the dark black hat and his super, like he's just not hitting, his face isn't hitting enough. Just give me this exposure a little bit hotter, like meaning up this exposure a third. And this is a yes for me, unequivocally. This is a vibe. And again, as compositionally sound, you understand how to shoot a double page. Look at how centered, oops, let me put that back. Let's look how centered this is, how it works with the double page, how this is centered within here. You've made this, this is an interesting frame, and you very much shot this with a magazine in mind, like this would be in a magazine and what it would look like. So for me, yeah, this is a yes, Mats Carlson. Yes, and an 11 for you, Mats Carlson. Oh my goodness, there's going to be so many photos of the week to go through. Holy moly. We're down to our last. That was Matt's. We got 4 photos to go. 4. This is Samuel Salling, shot with the Sony A7 IV 50 millimeter 1.4 with ISO 100 f8 at 1/640th of a second. I did well on that one. 6/40th of a second. This is Mats Carlson. Mats. Yeah, this is a yes for me. This hits. Yes. Yes. Crazy architectural building. Crazy perspective, Mats. Really crazy. I mean, I want you to look at this building up close and like how the layers work and how this is really sick, Matt, and how straight his lines are. Yes, this is Samuel, you hit this so hard. Look at this little bird here. Samuel Salling, you are killing this for me. This is so much a yes, Samuel. Samuel Salling was once a photographer who found me, wanted to be in my accelerator, fancied himself a portrait photographer, was shooting all kinds of things, pictures of his kids, always had a hard time finding subjects. He wasn't really inspired. Then he told me he wanted to change niches. What? And he wanted to shoot architecture and interior. And I'm like, dude, what? And now this guy and his work is so profound. Salling. This guy's work is so profound, and the way that in such a short time, once he knew what his niche was, I've never seen a guy shoot new work with such ferocity. This guy shoots with and again, this is him. He shoots like with a veracity, and he's produced all of this work within the course of 3 months, 4 months. It really is insane. And yes, Samuel, this picture, I definitely see how this picture fits with the rest of your work. It's strong as a cover. It's going to work as an 8x10. It's unequivocally an 11. It's killer. So good. All right, this is Marcus Mack. Marcus with a Canon R3 with an 85 millimeter 1.8 at ISO 250 at 5.6 at ISO, at a 60th of a second. All right, we got that. Marcus Mack. Marcus Mack, thanks for submitting. Marcus is on a tear right now. I have very high expectations of what Marcus does over the next 8 weeks. Marcus, this is good. This is very good. Small mistake here with his finger, but we're going to let this pass. Just, again, just move him over. The closeness here, I don't mind, but I want you to see where his ear cuts. It is going to be a little bit close. But look at what this works as an 8x10. As a double page spread. You really framed this with real discipline as a double page spread. This works for me. This would work on the coffee shop's website. If this guy is the owner of the coffee shop or a guy that works there, the angle here, looking towards, this is a yes. The exposure that you have here, really good focus. This is a yes for me, Marcus. This is a yes. Yes. And again, this guy, when you shoot, dude, when you step up to the microphone, you have a tendency to win. I'll say that again. When you step up to the microphone, when you do the things that you should be doing, you have a tendency to win. You're in your head. You're in your head sometimes too much. You just need to get out of your head, my guy. As soon as you get it out of your head, it frees you. And it frees you in a way that I believe you need to be freed. So, Marcus, I'm proud of you. This is a really good swing. That's an 11 if I didn't hit that 11 already. Well done. Well done. Just watch your silly mistakes like this, yeah? Marcus Mack. Good shit, Marcus. All right. Am I still? Do I have a camera back there still? Still? Hey. Gives you a little bit of a perspective as far as like what it's like from my perspective. I mean, I'm in here by myself. I have a 2 camera setup. So camera back there, over here. See, over here. Camera. So I can switch between those 2 cameras. But also, I have a teleprompter here. This is the Elgato prompter, but what's in the prompter is chat. So I can see Stephen Bordeaux talking to me and Mr. Davis, Mr. T. Davis. Yes, I have him talk, so I can see chat. And this is OBS, which is how I'm running this whole operation. I'm using the M4 Mac Mini Pro. That's this. Switcher, changing my buttons here. But then I have another switcher here. And yeah, it's just, and it lights, obviously, so my grill looks all right. And yeah, today we're doing a 3 camera setup just for fun. All right. So, I did that one already. All right. Next, though, we're getting into Mr. Joseph Baldwin. Joseph shoots with the Canon R 50mm 1.8 ISO 800 50th of a second at f4. Shot ambient light. This is Joseph Baldwin. JW Joseph. Thank you for submitting. Skate shop vibes with Joseph Baldwin. Let's look at this as a double page. It's composed really well as a double, Joseph. I feel like you're including a little bit of ceiling that we don't really need. I would cut this frame like right here across and then just eliminate everything that's happening up here. As you can see now, it just brings me more into this guy. Your double page is good. Color balance wise, you can see this is ambient, so this feels a little bit warm. So you need to just color balance and give me a little bit of a proper color balance from this guy. As you can see, it's starting to get a little bit warm up here. But overall, this is a picture. And again, you can do this, Joseph, without losing any integrity. Like, look, I would just, let me just, first of all, put the beats back on. Why my music stop? Why you stop? And then, watch. So what I would do, Joseph, is just punch in like this. Zoom this a bit more. Punch in like this. Look at the difference in this shot. Right? Once you're taking off that stuff that's in the background. Listen, I like seeing this Houston logo, bro. I like seeing Houston up here. I like seeing that. But I feel like I would compromise that in order to get this to balance. Where is this? To get this to balance this. And now I'm zoomed right in on him. And now when you're looking at this as a double, well, now you can see this as a double and you can frame this guy however you want. Like I would push him now like here, right? So now there's my double. Now you can go a little bit lower, but for me, it's like, yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, that's the frame. Yeah, that's the frame. That's for me. You can do this without losing any integrity of the image. And also, if you wanted to go further, you could go above that and then cut it right there. And both of those work. After that, JB, just nail that color balance for me. So I have like a proper white, or like just proper skin tone, because again, there's lots of different color balances here, which makes your whole photography thing a bit of a shit show. And you can see here is kind of neutral like this, but he's not, because it's about what the pot lights are coming down. So you just have lots of different colors. But again, Jay, this is close. So I'm giving you an 11 on this. I want more of this kind of like shooting looser. It's helpful because you shoot very tight. Shooting looser, it frees you. So I'm asking for more freedom. Also have to watch the light with the top light in this scene, Joseph, because you can see he's getting raccoon eyes here because that light is coming from the top. So his face is getting hollowed out. You're getting all the light coming from up here. It would be a whole different shot if you had a bit of a portable something that you could kick in here and control where that shadow goes. So you're able to control this light a little bit more. But again, Joseph, still a really good swing. It's Joseph Baldwin. That was photo number 25. Proud of myself here, yo. We're 2 hours. I've looked at how many? Have I looked at? Is this my second last shot? Bro, I've looked at 25 photos. There's one more to go. Like, that's pretty sick. Like, I don't know. I don't recall ever looking at this many in like a really good long time. Last photo of the day. Let's get it on. This is Eamon Thompson. Eamon shot with a Fuji XT5 with a 560 millimeter at 56 millimeter at 1.4 ISO 125 f8 at 1/250th of a second using a double 2-strobe setup. This is Eamon Thompson. Eamon, let's see what we're doing. Eamon, thanks for submitting. Eamon, there's a vibe here for sure. There's a vibe here. I feel like this gentleman has either a lazy eye or a glass eye. I definitely get that vibe. There's a vibe here. I just want you to watch your exposure. Let's have a look at this as a cover. As a cover, this works. It's strong. Let's look at this as a 8x10, which it also works. You can cut part of his hair. You can cut no parts of his hair, which works. Oops, let me look at just the black. That's the last thing that I want to see. Let me hide that. The last thing I want to see is just the black balance up in here. Your exposure is really good, Eamon. Your exposure is really good. You're not doing quite a perfect black, but I just want you to watch what's happening in here. I feel like we're losing like a little bit of detail in here. But the exposure on his clothing, on his skin is really good. You've been shooting a lot of dark lately, a lot to this dark background. I'd really love to see you work now on different background textures, different background ideas. But this is a yes for me. This hits. It's technically strong and absolutely like is within your sensibility. So that's a yes for me. That is Eamon Thompson. And again, Eamon, like you're really dialing in like this one photo. I need like, which is very platin. It's very, oh my God, I can't think of his name right now. Mark Seliger. It's not, that's the wrong name. But yeah, I'm trying to now think like we need a new pony. We need to add depth. You shoot very close. We've been talking about wide, medium, and close. And I think that that's the next thing that will really add depth. Wide, medium, and close, and double page spread to everybody. Martin Scholler is the name that I'm trying to think of. Martin Scholler. That helps finally. All right, that is our last photo of the day. All right, so I do have some photos of the week. So let me find photos of the week, and then I'm going to remind you about what I'm going to be looking at on Thursday. And then I'm going to tell you what we're going to be looking at. And again, remind you, I do assignments every week, but the Thursday assignments, you have 2 weeks to do. There's like a constant flood of new assignments. I'll give you a little bit of a brief, but before that, I want to just have a look at these photos of the week. Watch this while I do that.
If you're stuck, if you're overwhelmed, or if you're tired doing this alone, it's time for coaching. The Carty method, coaching is built for photographers who want real results. So whether you're trying to go pro, whether you're trying to land better clients, or build a creative business that actually works, this is where you stop guessing and start winning. Now you have 3 coaching options. First, me, 35 years in the game. I've shot for Nike, I've shot for Apple, and I've shot some of the biggest brands and celebrities in the world. If you want the truth and a clear path forward, let's go. Second, Nick Johnson. Nick is a fashion, beauty, and editorial photographer. If you want agency work, campaigns, portraits, Nick's your guy. Third, Garan Rath. He's a product and composite pro with systems to keep your business sharp and clean. You can book a 1-hour power session for quick clarity or go deep with our 6-session program built on the Carty method. You can book now at thecartymethod.com/coaching. Let's get to.
All right. This is hard. Photos of the week are hard, but I know how we are going to start. We are going to start with this photographer. This photographer has won a photo of the week. Her name, Natalie Shalom. Natalie, that is a photo of the week. That's Carty approved, and congratulations. That is unequivocally a yes. That's a photo of the week. Well done. Photo of the week. Next photo of the week goes to this photographer. There we go. Photo of the week going to Mr. Kyle Gagne. Kyle, photo of the week. Welcome back. Thanks for submitting. It's a great shot. Very much fits within your sensibility. Kyle Gagne. Well done, Kyle. Photo of the week. Photo of the week. Here we go. Photo of the week. This photographer, you know him as John Beaumont. John, photo of the week, my guy. Well done. Well executed. Photo of the week for John Lodi Beaumont. Well done, John. Photo of the week. Hey, this photographer. We got love for this photographer right now. This. Okay. Photo of the week for Lincia Taylor. Lincia, photo of the week. Very, very well done. This is a level up for you this week. I'm not going to stop pushing you, but I'm very proud of you for this progress. Good shit. Lincia. All right. Photos of the week. Photo of the week for this photographer, Israel Cordona III. Photo of the week, Israel. Congratulations. Very well done. Israel Cordona III. Photos of the week. Photos of the week. Photos of the week for this guy. His name, Mike Graves. Mike. Very clean. Photo of the week, Mike Graves. Well done, Graves. Photos of the week. Photo of the week for this guy. His name, you know him as Doyle Daniels. Photo of the week, Doyle. Well done, my guy, Doyle Daniels. That's a photo of the week for Doyle Daniels. Hey, oh. Photo of the week for this guy. I know him as my blood relative, also my brother. This is Les Carty, who I recently gifted him a 70 to 200 L series Canon EF lens, and that's helping the photography that he uses to then paint after. Les Carty, photo of the week. Well done, Les. Hey, this guy, I know this guy as outdoor adventure photographer Charles Fortin. Charles, photo of the week. Well done, Charles. Congratulations. This is a very well executed capture. Charles Fortin, photo of the week. Hey ho, this guy, different approach this week, but he hit it. This guy, you know him as Mats Carlson. Mats, photo of the week. Very well done, Mr. Carlson. Mats Carlson, photo of the week. This guy really hit this picture off the park for me. This is Samuel Salling. Samuel, that is a photo of the week. Amazing capture. Very great shot. Samuel Salling, photo of the week. And some love for this guy for getting out of his own head and out of his own way. Photo of the week for this gentleman, Marcus Mack. Marcus, photo of the week. Congratulations. Getting out of your own way. Swinging pictures. Let's go. Marcus Mack. And Marcus. Guys, I feel like our last photo of the week goes to Amond Thompson. Amond, photo of the week. Congratulations. Again, just submitting is half the battle. You're submitting to get the feedback that you need in order to take your work to the next level. You can't win every week, and I can't give photo of the week to everybody, although I almost just did. All right, those are our photos of the week. Now, I got to remind you that Tuesdays, I look at pictures you're considering for your portfolio. Thursdays, I give you an assignment. To remind you, this Thursday, I'm looking at your niche at night. Your niche at night. The following Thursday, there's assignments, and the following Thursday after that, we're going to be shooting magazine covers, a technical, perfect magazine cover. You're going to be shooting, what's this one? We're going to be doing a website review and SEO tips. That's the next thing. So I'm really trying to give you everything that you need to be a professional photographer. I can't give it all here on YouTube, but I do surely try to do a lot. If you want to know what every single one of these upcoming assignments are in a very organized way with a full brief, you have to be part of the Carty Method Portfolio Lab. All of these assignments get posted inside Portfolio Lab the second that I deliver them. There's peer reviews, there's other people to ask questions, there's me to ask questions. Like, this is just a really beautiful thing. I'm not going to be giving full, like 12-page descriptions of these assignments because the people who are watching aren't interested. But for you, because you're in Portfolio Lab, you need to know what the assignment is next, but you need to go to Portfolio Lab and actually read the brief so you have the greatest chance of getting photo of the week for sure. Know this, we are taking accelerator members. My accelerator members are the best of the best. I'm very critical when it comes to who I allow into my accelerator, but you can get in there if you got the talent and you care enough about yourself and leveling up your work and doing this thing called pro photography. My next round starts on the 23rd of September, the 23rd of this month. But what that means is on the 20th, we're now we're taking applications, and we're like, the deadline is on the 20th. So I'm taking applications already. People are submitting. Go to thecartymethod.com/accelerator in order to watch my info session, get all the information that you need. I'm also giving away Phase 0. Phase 0 is the application. Phase 0 is Phase 0 is its own amazing product, but it definitely helps me know if you can be coached. A lot of people say that they want to do this, but when it comes to me asking questions, I don't want to answer those. I just want you to teach me how to be a photographer, but then you don't want to do any work. So those people aren't really coachable. So this application process eliminates those people, and it just leaves the people who are coachable, who are enthusiastic, and are really trying to do this for real. So my accelerator, please go to thecartymethod.com, get that info session into your brain, download Phase 0, work on that, and you have until the 20th. You have until the 20th to get that application in. So if you haven't done that already, I would be working on it quickly. Guys, thank you for your understanding about my concussion. It is the first time that anything like this has ever happened this far. So thank you for being sweet and nice to me. And understand that, I will be back to 100%. Not quite there. I get better every day. I get better at reading every day, but prompter and notes, it's just slower. So some of my podcasts have not been the best because I'm trying to just hack at notes, and it hasn't been going well. So I appreciate your understanding. I will see you guys on Thursday, where I look at your niche at night. And hey, thank you for subscribing, Mr. Think Big. Hey, there you go. Gerard, thank you guys for becoming subscribers. Guys, appreciate you for being here. I will be back on Thursday. And again, feel free to leave me comments. Feel free to send me emails. And what's most important is sharing this content and subscribing. Do you have the next assignment? Yeah, I told you the next assignment. The next assignment is a cover, magazine cover. But also, Steve, all of these assignments are in your courses and content. All of them are there. So asking me when I'm having concussion issues of recalling, just go to the community, bro. It's there. It's there, and it's there extensively. So you asking, do you have the next, do I have the next assignment? Yeah, it's in courses and content. Please go there. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. See you on the next one.
This commercial-free live stream was brought to you by the members of this channel. If it wasn't for you, we'd have to fill up these live streams with ads that would just interrupt the flow. The members of this channel make commercial-free content during these live streams possible. Consider becoming a member for $5 a month today to gain access to secret live streams, live chats, and to show your support with that crown badge next to your name. Sharing is caring. If this content has brought you value today, share it, clip it, post it to your socials. Curating and sharing helpful content makes you an expert, even if the content you're sharing isn't yours. Be a curator and share this content with your network. If you're an emerging or struggling photographer that's trying to break free from your current 9-to-5 grind and transition to the life of a working pro photographer, that's our obsession here at the Carty Method. Register, get the support you need. If you're alone and struggling at this craft, make sure you join the Carty Method community. You'll always find help in the show notes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Find your creative and business genius with the Carty Method.